You guys have been at this, what, 20 years now, you'd say? Whoa, on the verge of 20 years, maybe next year.
Way of life.
And so you guys mainly got a start from working with Zion Trade and the stuff on their label and stuff. And now, later on in your career, you guys started your own labels, Scoops and stuff. Was kind of being with them and seeing how they kind of worked as an artist and label, did that have some inspiration when you decided to start up?
Oh, definitely. They're real mentors, because when I started I didn't know anything about it, and they were really successful, and they were always well organised and kind of hard working. They always looked at it as like, because I just thought music was just like a laugh, and it was always really important to me, but it was people like that showed me that you can actually turn it into like a kind of a career and a lifestyle, and that was important for me.
Has it been fun to be able to see, you know, new artists come through and kind of give them a bit of the advice that was passed on to you back in those times?
Well, I try. I mean, I got a lot of help when I started my label and kind of started doing my music, so I do try and pass it on, although I probably just bore people senseless, because I could talk about it forever. So.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to help him. So
It's all about the space.
I think you were sitting next to me in the car on the way back, so I pity you. I get my rants in the car.
Deep breathe.
It's interesting as well, you were talking about the lineup, because a lot of the people who originally showed you love back in the day, the likes of Jar Shaka and Abishanti, they're all here tonight as well, so it must feel good for you to be able to come out and be able to share a stage with them guys.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nearly everyone's on the same circuit now, but it don't make no difference if you're big in the scene or small in the scene. Everyone just kind of integrates, and everyone's on a positive vibe. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it don't make no difference. There's no kind of level.
And everyone's normal, you know, because they're, well, musically mad, if you know what I mean. But so for us, like you say, seeing like when we're younger and we go to like see Shaka or ABBA, because ABBA, innit?
He was playing the same time.
Yeah, because ABBA played in Leicester first, which is our hometown, because a lot of his crew were from Leicester, innit? So we've known like of ABBA for a long time, and Jatobi's when he used to come back in the day. So,
In the 80s.
in the 80s. So then coming and being and working with these then people, and it's just like, because when we all the years ago when you first was like, wow, you know, whatever, but then everyone's just normal. Just like, okay, and you just fit into it, and that's the thing about the scene. It is just very normal when you meet everyone, and when we're away and everyone just mixes together, so it's like a family thing really, and then that wider family goes out even then to the audience. You know, so
Well, we've all got the same thing in common. We've all got into it through the same love of the music, and no matter what you say, at the end of the day, if you break it down to a conversation between two people who love in music, you're always going to get those same vibes and attitudes.
Yeah, but it helps with festivals like this, and I Mutual Counteraction did the UNOD thing. People from all walks of life came. Today we had people from, we're in Liverpool now, and we had people from London, and we're from Leicester, and there's other people from Leicester. You know what I mean? So it's
a proper gathering, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it just goes to show how wide, because when we first started, or even before we started, as you know, our music was a little thing. It was in the community.
Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't go out to clubs because clubs wouldn't let you in, so because of colour bar, so you'd have to make your own music, and that's how the culture from the Caribbean came over, and then that's how sound system started. And all the rest of it, because people don't understand that was in the days where you couldn't go to a club, so you had to make your own music. You couldn't go to a bar, you weren't welcome. And then that, from something small like that, to exploded to be a worldwide thing. And it's not a Jamaican thing in the same way. Because Jamaica's music is different to here, because it's about the cultural, social experience. And when you're like in a country compared to in a city, just environmentally, it's going to make the sound different. And to have that sound spread all over is mad. It's like in there, the pictures, just to show that you from your art.
Yes.
I noticed there's pictures from Iran, China, Turkey.
Properly international.
You know, so that just goes to show how wide it's gone from this little ghetto thing in the
amazes
UK.
me as well that I think the people, the founders of the music, they really would have had no idea that it would have travelled so far from like these little islands and in the Caribbean, and would have travelled so far around the world and continue on its journey now to influence people. And like, it's amazing, really. It's such a tiny population. It's kind of like changed the world, really.
It's interesting as well, because I mean, you guys have kind of been concerned with the whole geographical element before. You've obviously done the French connection, and you're talking about the Outer National Dub Conference and stuff. And so we saw the same with our poster competition. Like you say, we've got people from all around the world, and everyone giving their own interpretations of what it means to them and how it represents them. How do you feel like that's important when you're thinking about the future of reggae, where we can be going in 10, 15, 20 years' time? Those interpretations.
Important or not, it's going to happen. And it's happening.
Yeah.
But we've always embraced the travel, and because back in the day we'd get in the car and drive to Germany and Belgium and kind of like get on the Sealing Ferry and stuff. Like
When me and Steve started playing in places like France and stuff, they didn't really get it. I'm talking the early 90s.
What would you get? What
and
is
they just used to,
that was the question every time.
they used to just stand there after a song. There'd be a little applause, you know what I mean? And they'd just stand there. They didn't really know what to do. If you go now in 2017, gone crazy.
It's got their own scene.
Yeah. They have their own scene, their own sound systems, their own.
But the French interpretation of it,
It's different.
when they produce music, they produce it in a different way. Even if they say to try copy me, they'll copy me, but
Not copy you, Bob.
Can't copy you.
no, it's just cameraman. It's just an example.
Just an example.
So even if they went to copy me, the sound will be slightly different,
Yes.
just because of different machines and different this and that. And
Very much so. So, within that, would you say that there's a little bit of like Leicester in your music as well? Like, I mean, for someone like myself who doesn't know Leicester that well.
Yeah, I'd say so. I would, just because of how it runs.
Yeah, I think it's like, because I when I started doing my music, I thought everything was in London, and I nearly moved to London to pursue it. And in the end, I decided to stay in Leicester. And then that's when I kind of hooked up with you guys. And it's like, what we've brought to it is the fact that, because in London it's all happening, and all the artists there and all the labels are there, and in Leicester there isn't really very much, but there's a lot of love for the music. And it's like that, I think we kind of brought just a different vibe to the people in London. It's like we're kind of, we're out in the country, so we've got our own thing going on. And in the end, that's really helped us, I think, and brought us, shown that we can deliver something a bit different.
And I think in some ways, just because of Leicester being Leicester, how the city is set up, I mean, just us here is a reflection of Leicester, which is it's a model multicultural city. You know what I mean? So just the crew here, you ain't gonna get many crews.
No, this is true.
And it's always been like that. It's like what Paul says, you know what I mean? Whether you're a black man, white man, Indian man, you know what I mean? And it's always been like that. Because before Steve, Parv did the Dub Factory, and I was working with Parv back in the day, and we had there was always an amalgamation of the cultural aspect, because we all grew up together. Similar schools, similar areas, and Leicester's small. So back to your question, I'd say that, I think a bit of Leicester has come out.
There's got to be a Leicester influence, because I'm not Caribbean, as you can see. I try and sing in a patois.
Only aspects.
Some say work, some say don't.
An homage.
And I try to do my best at it.
Only aspects.
But some of it must come out Leicesterian.
It's different generations as well of the different
Exactly.
stages of the artists that come out of Leicester. It's not just a multinational aspect,
because
different times of
exactly.
that we've gone through different forms of different ways of touring, and
it still continue, because if you're saying like you lot was like 90s, innit? And then everything, and then the Meech came.
Like
2000.
Like 2000, and then so it's
40s,
you know what I mean?